Hi, I'm Aaron Vitus, Business Development Consultant for Social Enterprises. I'm here today to interview Joel Solomon. He's the chairman of Renewal 2, Entrepreneur in Residence at RSF Financial, and Community Investment Advisor at Vancity. He's been described by Vancouver Magazine as an unlikely revolutionary and says that his mission in life is to use the power and tools of finance to make a better world. I'm looking forward to talking to him today. Joel, thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
So, you can do anything. Why this?
I looked at my life. I felt like ecological crisis and social calamity looked like they were going to happen, and that I was going to live through a generation in which a responsibility to the future was, we were losing track of our responsibility to the future and our capacity to really to destroy the precious world that we live in. So I had to think about that, and my conclusion was to use my business background and skills and the opportunity I've been born into in an effort to contribute to the future as a change agent. I had to do something that could align with my values. What's happened in the 30 or 40 years that things like organic food and healthy lifestyles and questioning of industrial agriculture and reaching the limits of the biosphere have generated an awakening. I remember my first experience of going into the organic food store, and I was terrified and I didn't know what anything was. I ran in, bought a jar of peanut butter and ran out because I really wanted to know what it was about. So gradually the awakening has happened around money and business as it did with food and health. And despite the rapid growth of organic and natural foods, it's still less than 10% of the North American food dollar. However, there are fortunes being made in cleaner food. I think that there have always been business people who considered themselves responsible citizens and who did their best to be, if they were the large company in a town, to be good citizens, to be generous and support charities and that kind of thing. But there was just simply less understanding of the global context. Mm-hmm. So what these entrepreneurs are doing differently is being clear, doing a lifelong learning process of remembering and understanding what our values are, and then gradually interpreting in a practical context what that means. It's one thing to talk about values, but the interpretation and dealing with an inherently compromised world, mm-hmm. An imperfect world, requires a kind of a wisdom and nuance that takes a long time to assess, mm-hmm. when looking at a business investment.
Well, that I guess leads me to my next question. What do you think of the opportunities for entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs in the next few years?
We have a large part of the population that, if given the choice, would prefer to buy products, and including financial services, closer to their values. Mm-hmm. That means that the smarter and more effective that entrepreneurs can become in providing true value in this way, where they actually are looking at their entire supply chains and their practices, they have a leg up, mm-hmm. in the world that's coming. You see people like organizations calling themselves slow money. Slow money is a currently fairly radical concept, but it says the velocity with which money is expected to turn over.
So Joel, we were talking earlier about this idea that the entrepreneur is actually a fairly recent concept. That, you know, this idea of come up with an idea, bring it to market, make a lot of money, kind of retire on your yacht somewhere.
We're going to have to invent systems that create room for longer, slower, and more meaningful. Mm. Well, I'm 57 years old. My goal is to continue the inquiry for myself about values and purpose. So 2012 is a time of creative opportunity for me to see where I'm most useful at this stage in my career.
Joel Solomon, thanks for your time.
It's been a pleasure.